If you want to know where I ranked Gritty, you won't be disappointed. As for the NHL's newest mascot, or should I say monstrosity, let's just say I'd eat my jersey before letting him near my kid, who has 4 legs and probably would pee on him. He might like that. Hey guys, Nick here with my NHL Mascot Rankings. I bet for a lot of you when you were growing up and going to your first hockey games, you'd be getting high fives and hugs from the team's mascot, and that played a huge role in you becoming the fan that you are today. I can definitely relate here because I wouldn't be the Sharks fan that I am today without this guy here, SJ Sharky. And even though we don't think of mascots as having a role in our team's quest for the Stanley Cup, we appreciate how they add to the experience of being at a game, interacting with us over social media, and participating in community events for great causes. But getting down to brass tacks, some of the NHL's mascots have excelled in all of that and have become icons in North American professional sports, while others are the metaphorical equivalent of skid marks, but with googly eyes. So my friends, here are my unabashed and horrifyingly spicy NHL mascot rankings. But first, a message from our first ever channel sponsor, World Hockey Manager. Do you ever think about what you would do if you were the general manager or the head coach of your favorite hockey team? The free agents you would sign, the on-ice strategies you would employ, or the players that you would develop? Well, my friends, all of that is yours to control in World Hockey Manager, a free to download game for iOS and Android. As soon as you open the game, you're creating your own team, choosing the logo and the colors of your jersey, and in just a short matter of time, you have the keys to your entire franchise. Transform your team from cellar dweller to an absolute wagon, train your entire roster, and make critical improvements to individual player skills. Operate your very own prospect pool through the academy, analyzing and developing the potential of your next wave of franchise players. Scout and sign top free agents, working with a new list of talents every single day. Then when you're ready for the puck to drop, prepare your team for daily ranked games and tournaments, facing off against players all over the world. I especially like how you can set the strategies for all 4 lines and special teams with fine-grained tactical control. You can even delegate players to participate in the shootout and take face-offs. And on top of all of that, you can upgrade your arena and other facilities to not only improve your on-ice product, but also maximize your bottom line. To download, just tap the link in the description or the pinned comment down below. And once you're into the game, you can use this code to receive 100 coins so you can start upgrading and augmenting your roster right away. Just tap settings, then the green redeem voucher button, and then enter this code. So there you have it. Check out World Hockey Manager and get to making all the right moves right now. All right, back to our video. Okay, so first of all, we have to establish some ground rules.
No touching of the hair or face.
These rankings don't include any past mascots, any secondary mascots like Victory Rat or the Drunkest Fan in section 244, any objects or creatures thrown onto the ice, or anything related to the Detroit Red Wings or the New York Rangers, because at the end of the day, it's not really fair to compare Al the Octopus to Harvey the Hound. And lastly, this is just entirely for shits and giggles, so let's get started and let's have a good time. So we're starting with number 30, and yes, this actually does follow a tiered ranking system as well. So this is the D tier. I don't have an F tier because mascots, they try their hardest. But at number 30, we have Nordy of the Minnesota Wild. Nordy, I don't know what the hell this guy is. Is he supposed to be a bear? It's kind of like the logo, right? You don't know what the logo is. I know a lot of you do, but what's with this mask around the eyes? What's with the M in the forehead? The weird shape to his head, the mullet going on back there. I do appreciate that a little bit, but I still can't put my finger on what this mascot is. I'm a Minnesota Vikings fan, and I do like the Wild, so it does kind of hurt me to put Nordy this low, but this guy beat up Tommy Hawk on his birthday. That's not cool, man. In 29th, I have Hunter the Lynx. Lynx are awesome creatures, one of my favorite on the planet, but Hunter is just genuinely terrifying. I think they went too realistic with his appearance, so that makes him a lot less approachable for children. Not to mention proportionately, his head is just enormous while his body is very toned. He actually has an 8-pack. They could have made him a little bit more whimsical, especially when you compare him to Harvey the Hound for the Calgary Flames, that rivalry there. In 28th, I have Spartacat. Again, just an absolutely enormous head, but a skinny body. That doesn't do it for me. And you know, he's a lion, and compare him to other mascots in sports who are lions. We'll talk about one a little bit later. And the execution on Spartacat is just not quite there. You look at his teeth, right? Looks like he paid Walter White a visit in recent time. And also the mane of his is very kind of ratty, whereas it could be a lot more fluffy and, you know, have a little bit more body to it. All right, 27th, I've got Victor E. Green of the Dallas Stars, I just look at him and I see Philly Fanatic, right? It just seems kind of like a ripoff. He wouldn't be the only mascot in professional sports to do that. He does have a little bit of heft to him. I do appreciate that. Good energy, good presence from what I saw in the video clips I looked at. But again, it's just not the most unique mascot. And at 26th, I have Louis of the St. Louis Blues. You know, it's just a bear, right? Bears are very huggable. Louis, he is cute, right? He's cute, he's approachable, that's good, he's friendly. He's not wearing any pants, and a lot of these mascots strangely don't have any pants on. He does have some gags, which I do appreciate, but again, just kind of a forgettable mascot in the grand scheme of North American professional mascots. Same with Carlton at number 25 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Again, just another bear, right? He is cute, so I will give him credit. Although his eyes are very opaque, he's kind of soulless looking, but you know, the Maple Leafs, they're not trying to be super edgy or over the top because they're an original six kind of classy franchise. Yeah, a kid could walk up and give him a hug. It's just that he doesn't have really any like sass to him. Not very much of that. Now we're going to start the C tier, and at 24th, I have Buoy of the Seattle Kraken. Now, in terms of just appearance, I mean, there shouldn't even be a tier for Buoy with just how horrifying this creature looks. This does not look like a troll to me. This looks like a fucking gremlin. Now, aesthetically, I could pick him apart quite a bit, especially with that eyeshadow. I don't know exactly whose idea that was. The ratty flow, again, looks kind of creepy. Looks like he kind of crawled out of a downtown Seattle sewer. He is, I believe, he is an aquatic troll. And his cousin is the Fremont troll, which I do understand that, but I mean, really, they had a low-hanging fruit with some sort of squid or octopus or something like that they could have trotted out there. However, I will give Buoy credit for a couple of things. He does have a squeaky nose. I do like that. He has a removable tooth, which, you know, that does kind of have a hockey tie-in, so I do appreciate that. He's got a little chonk on him, so again, he scores some points there. And even though he's kind of jittery in his movements, I've seen some clips of him, and he seems like, you know, something that the fans are taking kindly to. The kids seem to like him as well. So even though he is kind of an oddball, to say the least, I think that there are some redeeming qualities to otherwise what looks like a trash monster. All right, 23rd, I've got Stanley C. Panther of the Florida Panthers. Really generic in his appearance. That's why he's not that high on this list. Although I've seen some clips of him, I like his presence at games. I like his community presence as well. But he does get lost in the shuffle, not just among the appearance of other NHL mascots, but also other mascots in Miami. They have the Marlin for Marlins games. They have a Dolphin for the Miami Dolphins. And Bernie, the mascot for the Miami Heat, is an absolute treasure. So Stanley does get kind of lost in the shuffle. I do think that Victory Rat would probably be a better mainstay mascot. 22nd, I have Stormy of the Carolina Hurricanes. I like Stormy a lot for his game day appearance. He's just not piggy enough. He's got like the blue eyes. He looks more like, I don't know, something out of a Disney cartoon. Looks more like a dog than a pig in my opinion. Like Hammy the Hog, as he used to be for the AHL Rockford Ice Hogs, that's a pig. That is leaning right into the motif. That's nice and chonky, right? Whereas Stormy just, again, looks kind of like, I don't know, a stray dog or something like that. 21st, I have Chance with the Golden Knights. And yeah, he is kind of a monstrosity with this, you know, scaly appearance, kind of the beady eyes, right? But I do like his smile. I do like the clips that I saw of him. He does have some quirks to him. He has some gags, and the kids seem to like him quite a bit. I like the fact that the Knights went with a Gila monster instead of a knight. They already have kind of the medieval times on ice. And they didn't go with the whole like gambling motif or anything like that. They went with something that is native to that desert there. So I do appreciate that quite a bit. So for uniqueness, he does score some points there. In 20th, I got Bernie for the Colorado Avalanche. I like the fact that they went with the St. Bernard because they are used in avalanche rescue situations. But with Bernie, even though he does have kind of a cute face, he's not exactly, I don't know, St. Bernards are even heftier creatures, right? Again, he needs some more fluff, a little bit more chonk to him to make him more presentable. In my opinion, I've seen his demeanor at games. He's very friendly. They played it kind of safe with him, given their notoriety with their original mascot, which was Howler, who eventually got fired and retired after assaulting a fan. In 19th, I have Slapshot for the Washington Capitals. Now, Slapshot just looks awesome, right? That's about as well as you can do an eagle for a professional sports mascot, in my opinion. But in terms of like the clips I've seen of him, you know, his presence on social media, maybe not the most edgy or gag-ridden mascot in the NHL. I'm sure the fans like him quite a bit. He just seems like a mascot you'd want to run up to and give a high five. In 18th, I have Sabretooth for the Buffalo Sabres. What's going on with this guy's eyebrows? Those are thicker than Eugene Levy's. And yeah, he is kind of a goofy looking mascot, not exactly the cutest or the most huggable, right? And some people would say, well, why didn't they go with a bison? Well, I believe the Buffalo Bills mascot is a bison. He's also one of the OGs among NHL mascots. I think he's like the second or third longest serving. And not to mention, I got to give him some respect for this. So when they branded to the goat head era back in the mid 1990s, Sabretooth actually changed his stripes and then changed them back when they went back to the, kind of blue and yellow or navy and gold sort of schemes. Now we get into the B tier, and kicking things off at number 17, I have Blades of the Boston Bruins. He is a little scary to look at. I mean, look at the fangs on this guy, but I do like the blue eyes quite a bit. I really like Blades for how involved he is in the community, especially with kids and like these learn to read programs. I saw tons and tons of videos of him doing that. So he is a very community oriented mascot, even though as a little kid, I don't know if I'd be able to approach him. Okay, in 16th, I have Finn of the Vancouver Canucks. The reason why I don't have Finn quite as high as maybe another aquatic mascot out there is because I really just don't like the fin on his head. He used to have it on his back. I don't know why the hell they changed that up, but that is kind of an awkward placement. Finn is a good personality. He does have some sass to him, very athletic. I've seen lots of videos of him doing things like dodgeball and dancing around and that sort of thing. Does a lot of work with the Children's Hospice there in Vancouver, so I have to, of course, admire that quite a bit. He's a solid mascot, 16th. In 15th, I have Sparky for the New York Islanders. The Isles used to have a mascot back in the 70s or 80s named Niles, and he was quite a disaster, I have to say. But Sparky, as a dragon, completely unique, gets lots of credit for that. And Sparky's pretty damn cute, I do have to say. I think that even his colors altered when the team went from the navy and orange to the royal blue and orange. So kudos there. It's really just hard to not put a dragon that looks cute at this level. So 15th, there he goes. In 14th, I have Thunderbug. Very derpy looking mascot. Got kind of the googly eyes, the weird sort of frilly red and white feathery stuff up there. It looks like something out of Teletubbies, but Thunderbug does have some sass to him. I saw that there was a video clip of him silly stringing a Boston Bruins fan, and I think that performer actually got fired because of it. And because of that, I have to put him at least at a respectable position in these rankings. So the sass, grows a playoff beard, even has the talents to do the forecast there in Tampa. In 13th, I have NJ Devil, kind of a creepy looking mascot, looks like something from like Sesame Street, like a cousin of the Count. Yeah, a kid walking up and hugging him. It's hard to kind of imagine that, but he does have great personality, good in-arena presence, will definitely punk fans of the opposing team. Just don't let him anywhere near the glass. In 12th, I have Tommy Hawk for the Blackhawks. Yeah, I think he's part of the Mascot Hall of Fame. A little derpy looking with those eyes. He gets lots of kudos for his in-arena presence, especially when confronting fans who try to lay the smackdown on him. He is very well disciplined in martial arts, so for standing his ground and for looking great with those feathers as well, I got to put him in 12th on this list. All right, and in 11th, we have Nash for the Nashville Predators. I mean, this guy just looks awesome, right? He's a total gamer. I love the way that he's designed. I love the coloring on his head quite a bit. He's very acrobatic and athletic. And at the same time, he does have a bit of a soft spot to him as well. Saw him in Prague at the Global Series. He gets a respectable number 11 and a B tier ranking here. All right, now we get to our A tier. So this is almost the cream of the crop, but not quite there. We start off in 10th with the Columbus Blue Jackets' very own Stinger. Now, Stinger is fucking ugly. There's no way around it. Look at those red eyes. I mean, God, he's just one angry son of a bitch. Either that or he likes to smoke a bowl or two every night. Love the tail, the yellow tail, right? There's like a fun origin story with how he became green. But the reason why Stinger lands this high is because I think he's the only mascot to ever actually appear on a jersey. So he was actually on the shoulder patch for the Blue Jackets when they were first introduced into the NHL. That's incredibly cool. In 9th, I have Youppi for the Montreal Canadiens. This guy is fucking creepy, and I'm sure that he inspired a few mascots out there, but Youppi, he's an OG. He was once the mascot for the Montreal Expos, so I think he's the only mascot to have served two different professional sports franchises in different sports. So Youppi gets lots of credit for that. So even though, yeah, he is kind of creepy looking without any pants, and I don't know exactly what the hell's in that beard. I don't think I want to know where that's been. Youppi, he's still kind of a classic in the minds of mascot aficionados. In 8th, I have Bailey for the LA Kings. Now, Bailey actually would have been a little bit higher, might have even made the S tier if he didn't change up his appearance. So this is a new photo, but back in the day, he looked a little bit more fierce. He looked a little bit more intimidating, but at the same time, Bailey was just a cool mascot, and he still is. It's just that I don't think that his look exactly matches how he used to behave. Bailey is very sassy. He'll never back down from a Twitter war. He's just got great in-arena presence. He loves to go at it with other mascots. So I still really like him, and I'm a Sharks fan, right? In 7th, I have Howler for the Arizona Coyotes. I mean, how a kid would not want to go up and give him a hug, I don't know, especially if he's got a bushy tail. He's also kind of sassy. He's got lots of like gags and great in-arena presence as well. He's known as one of the better mascots in professional sports overall. And that's not exactly easy considering he has to measure up against the gorilla for the Phoenix Suns. So big ups to Howler. And at the top of the A tier, I have Mickey Moose for the Winnipeg Jets. Not the cutest looking mascot out there, kind of a derpy grin. But that being said, look at the appearance on this guy. I love the aviator gear he's got, especially with the goggles there. Name one other professional sports franchise in the world, I'm not talking about junior hockey, that has a moose for a mascot. This guy pulls it off in spades, and he's not only the mascot for the Winnipeg Jets, but he's also, of course, the mascot for the Manitoba Moose. So Mickey, he does it all. That's amazing. So he absolutely earns a spot in this position. All right, and now we get to the S tier, the cream of the crop of NHL mascots. Kicking things off at number 5, we got my guy, SJ Sharkey. Now, Sharkey, I still love you, always will, but you're not exactly as daring as you used to be. Sharkey used to toboggan down the stairs. I remember seeing a game when I was a kid and watching him do that. And he would jump up on the glass. I don't know how the hell he did it. Of course, there was that infamous incident in 1998, I want to say, when he was trying to rappel from the ceiling and got tangled and stayed up there for like 20 plus minutes. But even though he's a lot more tame these days, Sharkey is still absolutely beloved in the hockey community in San Jose, even though he will frequently try to eat you or put your head in his mouth, no matter which color you're wearing out there. But Sharkey is still a gem, very active in the community, very friendly. I mean, they made a shark look cute. That is not easy to do. So he's cute and he's cool. He's got those fins on his back and on his arms as well. An absolute gem of a mascot and my favorite mascot of all time without question. In 4th, I have Iceberg for the Pittsburgh Penguins. He is one of the longest serving mascots in the NHL, so absolute kudos. And he's also gone through some looks and changes over the years as well, as the Penguins have shifted their branding back and forth. And yeah, he was in the 1995 film Sudden Death with Jean-Claude Van Damme and put up a hell of a fight there. So with that, and with the way that he engages fans, he has earned a spot at number 4. All right, number 3. Now, as a Sharks fan, it does pain me a little bit to put this guy a little bit higher than Sharky, but there's no denying Wild Wing is one of the greatest mascots ever in professional sports, or even just sports in general. Think of it this way, especially back in the day when Disney owned the team, they could have just made him Donald Duck. And they went totally in a different direction with this fiercer looking duck with a mask. We don't even know exactly how he looks behind the mask. He's awesome. He even tried to jump through a ring of fire one time and fortunately was able to escape that peril. But yeah, just a terrific presence, especially when the Ducks are having a good season. So it's been a while for him. But that being said, I mean, is there any cooler looking mascot in pro sports than Wild Wing? That is tough to debate. In 2nd, I have Harvey the Hound, one of the most beloved mascots in hockey across the globe. I mean, I even think of a few years ago when David Riddick was on the team and his autistic brother visited. He was a big Harvey the Hound fan, and he was surprised by a meet and greet with Harvey and even just picked him up. That's how excited he was to meet the NHL's longest serving mascot. And as derpy as he looks, I mean, he just has a huge, huge heart. You see it in the community, and he has great antics as well. You think of back when Craig McTavish, the coach for the Oilers, yanked Harvey's tongue out of his mouth. And in 1st, is it any surprise, it's Gritty for the Flyers. He's one of the greatest mascots ever conceived in sports, period. When he was first revealed, I was just dumbfounded. I was like, what the f*** are the Flyers thinking? This ugly, giant-ass Muppet reject of a character. But after a day of seeing tweets and his various appearances that he was making in the media, it clicked. And I think it clicked for a lot of us out there, that the Flyers got this exactly right. This sort of anti-hero of a mascot with this crazy scraggly look to him, with these googly eyes, the big old belly, right? And all of his great tweets, all of his great acrobatics. He's very skilled, I have to say, and coordinated. And Gritty has just stacked up to not only the greatest mascots in the NHL, but in sports. And he is in the same city as the Philly Fanatic, who's often regarded as sports' greatest mascot. I think he holds a candle very well. He continues to get better with age. His acts, his routines, they never get old. He can do anything out there. He can be sassy, he can be friendly, he can be goofy, he can be athletic. I mean, the Flyers really just slam dunked this one. Thanks again to our sponsor, World Hockey Manager. Make sure you see the video description or the pinned comment below for a download link and a promotional code that will grant you 100 juicy golden coins. So what do you think of my mascot rankings, and what do yours look like? Comment down below with your top 5 and your bottom 5, and feel free to shout out any further suggestions you have for videos like this. Make sure you leave a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new here, and see the video description for even more goodies. I appreciate you Twisters so much for tuning in. Once again, I'm Nick, and I'll catch you later. Ciao.